Welcome back. In today's lecture, we are going to look at a really important concept, when working with data in Snowflake, how to handle errors during the copy operation. And we do that using the on-error option. So, let's break it down. The on-error option is part of the copy command in Snowflake, and it tells Snowflake what to do when it encounters a problem, like bad data during a data load. Specifically, one of the columns in our data is called unit sold, and our table expects it to be an integer. But, in the files, there are text values in that column, which obviously won't work. Let us try loading this data without handling the error first, and see what happens. As expected, Snowflake throws an error, something like, numeric value, test, is not recognized. And it gives us a helpful hint: if we want the load to continue despite errors, we can use on-error equals, continue, or on-error equals, skip file. By default, if we don't specify anything, Snowflake uses abort statement, which we have just seen with this command. This means if even one error occurs, the entire load is aborted, no data gets loaded. Not even from files that don't have errors. Let us use abort statement option, and check the behavior. We'll run the copy command again, with this option. And boom! Nothing gets loaded. Even if only the first file has an error, the second one gets ignored too. Now let us try using continue option. This tells Snowflake to skip over problematic rows, and load everything else that is valid. We rerun the copy command with this option, and it works. Snowflake tells us something like, 100 rows parsed, 96 loaded, which means 4 rows had errors, but the rest made it through. We can even check the error details. It will show you exactly which line caused the problem, and what went wrong. Now let us try using skip file option. This is another powerful option. Instead of skipping just the bad rows, skip file tells Snowflake to skip the entire file, if any error occurs within it. Let us test this out. If the first file has an error, that whole file gets skipped. But if the second file is clean, its data will still be loaded. And yep, running a query on our table confirms that only the good file's data is there. Now here is where it gets even more flexible. Snowflake allows us to add an error threshold to skip file. This can be an absolute number, like 5, or a percentage, like 5%. If the number of errors in a file stays below that limit, Snowflake still loads the file. If the errors hit or exceed the limit, that file gets skipped. So if we set to 5, and our file only has 4 errors, it will still be loaded. But, if we set the limit to 4, and there are exactly 4 errors, the file gets skipped. Let us test this out. When threshold is 5, error file went through. When threshold is 4, error file is skipped. It is all about giving you control over how much bad data you are willing to tolerate. And using a percentage, like 5%, gives you even more flexibility, especially with larger files. If you have 1,500 rows, 5% means up to 75 errors will be tolerated before the file is rejected. Just to recap. Default behavior when error occurs is abort statement, which means nothing will be loaded. With continue option, error records will be skipped and rest will be loaded. With skip file option, file with error records will be skipped. And combine skip file with an error limit to fine-tune the behavior even more. This gives you a lot of control over data loading, especially when working with imperfect real-world data. That's it for this lecture. In the next one, we'll look at even more copy options to help streamline your data ingestion process. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you've got questions. Catch you in the next one.